case that I'm just going to talk about, is it really a case of lawlessness or intimidation? For me, that's just the way I'm looking at it. I just came out. I was actually supposed to do another video, and then I saw this tweet that Mr. Peter Obi had put out, and he's talking about the fact that his brother's house was being demolished, a property that he owned, and the brother called him that he had to go in there. But it's a whole lot of drama. Let me start from the beginning. Let's just go through it, because I just started reading. I'm like, what is really, what is really going on? So Mr. Peter Obi started the tweet by saying that any society where lawlessness overrides the rule of law is not destined to be a heaven for investors. Recent reports showing that Nigeria's human rights indicators have worsened merely highlight severe shortfalls in government protection for civil liberties, personal security, and basic living standard. I know what I've been going through as a person in abuse of my human rights just because I contested a presidential election, which I have legitimate rights to do. And so that's one thing that many people don't see. And so when I see people talking about Mr. Peter Obi not having courage, or do you think I'm looking at that, what do you people think is courage? You think it's to be shouting, or to ask people to go and do the things that you will not do? That's what people think is courage. There are people who will sit there and say, oh, people should do this for me. People are supposed to do this, be on the street, but they will not be on the street. They need courage in Nigeria to stand against, government and speak consistently. It's not an easy thing, and not many people can do it. And he has done it, and a lot of things have been done against him, his family, or whatever. He keeps quiet, he keeps going, and he stays strong. So he says, so I imagine what small business owners, regular citizens, and vulnerable communities face every year. If this level of lawlessness can happen to someone with a registered company and legitimate means, what hope does the ordinary Nigerian have? And Mr. Peter Obi continued by saying, this morning, my youngest brother called me frantically, informing me that a group of people have invaded his company property in Ikeja, Lagos, and were demolishing the building. He had just come in from Port Harcourt and was denied entry to the property by security men who told him the building was being pulled down. And let me even first of all stop there to say the rate at which, especially in Lagos, is so easy for buildings to be pulled down. I just don't even know. Even in Abuja here, it happened a lot, even though I've not heard some of those things in recent time. This is a country where, first of all, we have a huge shortage of housing. And you know how expensive it is to build. Nigeria, so you build, it's your money you are using to build. But government finds it so easy to destroy, to demolish things that they cannot build. And then sometimes you find that they will demolish it and then carry the land and hand it over to their cronies. That's one of the things that Wiki has been accused of doing here in Abuja. And you're wondering, even if you say some people didn't get certain land illegally or whatever, as long as it's not a major environmental threat or something, you can do that paper. Find them. Even if you say they've done wrongly, give them a fine, redo those papers, let them pay whatever it is, and then those houses are there. You destroy these houses, you're not going to bring back another house to replace it. Even if you're going to do it, that house that would have been brought by there, build it in another place, because the house that you've destroyed, you're not going to get it back and use it somewhere, somewhere else again. He said, okay, he had just come in. They even informed him that this demolition has started over the weekend. As a peace-loving Nigeria, he quickly started processing to go to court immediately, not knowing what must have resulted in this, as they moved fast to destroy the home without any restraint. I rushed to Lagos from Abuja after the call this morning, and I headed straight to the property. On arrival, I was met by security people who tried to bar me from entering the property. I humbly pleaded with them that the property belonged to my brother's company, and from the records, the company had owned the property for over a decade. They told me they had a court judgment and I immediately requested it. You will not believe that the court judgment they claim was issued against an unknown person and squatters. I went further to ask about a demolition order or permit, and there was none. Can you imagine? There was none of that. But you could hit your chest and just begin to destroy. All you needed to do, bring some security personnel. That is it. The next thing, they will collect that land and they will issue it to whoever they want to issue it among themselves, and they own a land that they ordinarily do not own. How do you sue an unknown person? How does a court issue a judgment in such a farce of a case? No one was served. No name was written. Yet, they showed up with excavators and began destroying a structure that has stood for over 15 years. I immediately asked the excavators for the person who had sent them, and they said they didn't know anyone. Can you imagine? They were only informed to come and demolish the house. I immediately told them to tell whoever is it that I would like to speak with them if they can call my number, which I share with the excavator, so that I can speak with whoever gave them the order to demolish the property. I stood there from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. waiting to get a call at least, and nobody called or came. The contractor even said he didn't know who sent him. Really? 2 men later came and said they would like us to go to a police station. I asked if they even had a demolition order, but they had nothing. The whole situation screamed of coordinated lawlessness and impunity. Our country has become lawless. I just started reminiscing about how just over the weekend I had a meeting when someone told me how he had investments in Ghana, Senegal, and the Benin Republic, but won't touch Nigeria. Despite his market being here, I asked him why. His answer was piercing. Nigeria is a lawless country. Until we have laws that protect people, nobody will invest in Nigeria. I'm just shocked. How did Nigeria get to this level of lawlessness? What kind of a country are we trying to build when the rights of citizens, their lives, their properties, and their voices are trampled upon daily? I remain committed to a better Nigeria where lawlessness will be a thing of the past, protection of life and property, respect for human rights, care for the less privileged, and basic education for all children. A new Nigeria is possible. For me, I think this screams more of intimidation than even the lawlessness. Yes, there's lawlessness in Nigeria, but is it really just this was done, or because he happens to be Peter Obi's brother? Or now they begin to go everyone and everybody that is either related to Peter Obi, supports Peter Obi, stands with Peter Obi, always Peter Obi. These are some of the things that we have to begin to ask. There are a whole lot of things that will be done. And for me, what I would say to everyone is, let's tighten our belts. The only way that they can intimidate us is if we refuse to look fair in the eye and say, bring it on.